What up, tribe? So, this is a little bit of tribe talk for you right now. I think there is a direct correlation between you not having any placements in your first house, or maybe first house or Pluto in your first house, or eighth house and first house being somewhat working together. However, I think there's a distinction, like some sort of alignment here with you being a person of interest, being a person that they don't, like your memory was erased. They don't want you to know yourself. There's something being hidden about you for a very important reason. Like, you know how they say, like, when you reincarnate sometimes, when you come back, you have to remember yourself. Like, think Disney Plus, Agatha all along. Like, she had to be pushed into remembering who she was in a previous lifetime. Like that type of energy. What if your first house is empty or it's hidden because you're reincarnated from someone that you need to be hidden for whatever reason? That's like my first rando tribe talk moment for you to deep dive into in terms of your birth chart. What if you're being hidden for a purpose? What if your memory was wiped for a reason? Those aspects of yourself, those aspects of your powerhouse, like I said, your 8th house, 12th house energy too. There may be something we need to look into. So put a pin in that. I feel like right now you're being called to commit to yourself, commit to this new version of yourself, commit to this new timeline, whether it be spiritual, financial, everything that Virgo represents, and like get rid of everything that doesn't support that. I think that this is one of those types of moments. Like, are you going to step out there and, commit to your path and commit to what you say it is you want, or what you're being energetically being drawn to, and if you can commit without fear and step into it. And I think a lot of it is going to be based on you obtaining knowledge during this time, and knowledge through trial and error, to knowledge through getting off the porch and doing the work, and physically becoming who you say you are. Like, there's a reason for this Virgo hermit mode energy right now. You're being spiritually prepped for the next phase of your journey, right? And like I was telling y'all, like before, that's where a lot of people meet me. They meet me at that point in their life. Like, something needs to change, something needs to shift. There's something you're being prepped for, type thing. So one of the things, anyway. But yeah, I think that first house thing is very, very sight, because a lot of people are being spiritually in spiritual warfare, and they're not sure why they need to make this getaway underground railroad shift from running from their oppressor, which is coincidentally a lot for a lot of us is family or lovers. I'm not getting a lot of like community friendship energy. I feel like we're building new tribes and communities and people that we can rely on multiple wavelengths. Like, I feel like that's being built. I think you're being very much, again, with the Virgo grounding energy, you're being very much tasked with dealing with the root of the thing this season. The root is what? How do they attack women? Ooh, did I say that? I said that on I was watching Salem. I may have mentioned this, and she was saying something about how they get women is war and love. And what is that? Venus. That's so Venus. That's transformation. That's seeing beyond the veil. There's self-care, but it's also at the same time overindulgence and passion and all the things. We want that. We want that fresh start, that new thing. But I feel like a lot of it, it starts with us. It starts with dealing with the internal, and a lot of us, again, it started like matriarch energy that's been kind of doing us in lately that we're working through. A lot of, like I told y'all, it's like contracts. There were contracts, I kid you not, and any sort of rebellion against this patriarchal masculine figure, and whoever he is, he's a fire sign this season. They've made a deal. This mother figure thought she was doing what was right. This matriarch felt like she had the plan, and maybe she did, but for herself. Shit. So you're working through something. You're redefining and rebuilding a generation, a lineage, and you are going to be being attacked. I'm being very, like, to the point with my speech here lately, But you are going to be dealt with because you're a change maker. Either that or somebody just don't want to give up their position. But that's usually the case, too. What do people look for the most? What is the most thing? The fountain of youth. How can I continue to go on? How can I exist? And what's crazy is kind of like the Mayfair witches, like Julian, the dad, he still exists in spirit. They go to the spirit realm and connect and talk to Julian all the time. Julian comes back into the physical realm through a body, through possession. He possessed the Cortland. He possessed Cortland because Cortland had a weak spirit. And Cortland got trapped in the spiritual realm, and the daddy came back in spirit and lived through Cortland. That shit is all too deep. I don't know if y'all get off into like Anne Rice lore and literature, but she's like horror. She's like the Stephen King for the girls, And, so this book was made, these series of these books were made, and one of, again, is about the Mayfair witches. But, so the thing is, they made the deal, right, to deal with this entity, this egregore, this energy that this family created. And his family, also, I think it's significant to know that it's family near and far. Okay, they've got lineage here in New Orleans, and they had lineage in Ireland, so that's relevant for somebody. You gotta spread yourself far and wide to really get a hold on what these generational like spirits and entities are that are attached to your bloodline, right? This shit came way from Ireland on these people. But it also gave their lineage like a power of rebirth and regeneration. But guess what? A deal was struck so that this could happen. So your family might have a gift. Your family might have some sort of wealth, land. Deals were struck during times of famine, during times of loss, war. Deals were struck. And they just now becoming privy to this, right? So anyway, so a deal was struck just like Mayfair witches, and the family was powerful and successful because of this, right? But this energy has good and bad linked to it. So I feel like whoever holds that power, whoever can wield that energy for the entity in a way that's suitable as well as righteous, I feel like that's who wins. But that's a tug of war, because the supreme of the family in this book, and just period, take it where it resonates, this supreme is the person who holds this relationship and this power. So that's why this ties to this, what I've been reading about in the cards and stuff, and getting these channel messages. And like I told y'all, if y'all know, I get downloads from stories and like shows and stuff. I feel like that's why my interest in TV is just not as vast anymore, because I get like downloads, so it has to be significant. But anyway, said all that to say that the feminines in my tribe are dealing with a matriarchal contract. that the matriarchy is hell bent on making sure gets carried out, and you are resisting and running in Cimarron style away from that oppression, away from that boundary that your family lineage accepted. And so they made deals, you know. And I'm not here to talk about whether the deals are good or bad or they benefit or not, because if you could see in the show that the family has its good and its bad parts. So, who's to say? More on that later, right? Like, don't hold me to nothing about that right now, because I gotta dig more. Maybe I'll even try to read an Anne Rice book. I don't know. But I think it's also fair to note that if you have a little bit more razzle to your dazzle, aka you were born with a gift, or you witch, or what, etc. I'm talking more to the witches, honestly, right now, to be real. But if you come from a lineage, there are deals that have been made with certain entities. I don't feel like I want to clear up. I don't feel like in order for you to be a witch, that deal has got to be made. I feel like some people felt thrust into that. Maybe they didn't know any better. Times were hard. People get in situations. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's better to note that it's just something that got to be done about it. We could go on and on about the whys and the attention to detail, but I think it's time more now to think about moving to action. Getting prepared to move in action. Make sure you got all your ducks and your info to a T, though, because these spirits are strong. They're not to be played with, and they've been in your lineage for a long time, so you trying to tame it and utilize it for your own, will. It's not going to fare well with a person that thinks that they're in control or has been in control for quite some time, and you kind of are unearthing them. You showing them they slip is showing. They're being exposed right now. This Aquarius, and I feel like you are being called to be patient during this time and do your research and do what needs to be done. Just don't overwhelm yourself. Like I said, honor your rest, because you can do overload and it can send you to a place you could go too deep. And if you don't have a rope, I felt like I discussed that the other day. If you don't have a rope, then you're gonna have an issue, and that ain't what we trying to do. But yeah, that's what I've been tapping more into certain entities, because you have to know, right? You got to know what time it is to know what you're dealing with. And again, like I said, a lot of this is ancestral. A lot of this is ancestral. And again, I've been getting this download for so long. Ever since I watched that show, about the family that was the Edgar Allan Poe on Netflix. House of dang, I talked about it. I can't think of the full name. House of whatever. Anyway, they struck a deal for riches and fame, and then the lineage had to deal with it. So I feel like that's what's playing out right now. And that's my random thought for today. That's all I got. Maybe I'll come back later. Who knows? But yeah, if you need me, you know where to find me. Love you. Mean it. Bye.